Sometimes I sit down to play a video game and I don't want a story. I don't want emotional choices. I don't want complicated mechanics. And I definitely don't want to think too hard. Sometimes I just want to fish or mine blocks or spend 20 minutes trying to find a tiny cat in a picture. And those are some of my favorite gaming experiences. Games get a lot of praise for their storytelling, and they should. Games like Red Dead Redemption 2 pull you into a world and give you characters you actually care about. I still think about scenes from that game, and it's been years since I've played. A conversation at a train station, a slow, tired walk through a camp that used to feel alive. But those games ask a lot from you. You have to pay attention, follow complicated storylines, stay invested all the way through. Sometimes that's exactly what I want, but sometimes it isn't. There's something about repetitive tasks in games that I find really satisfying in a way that's hard to explain. Casting a fishing line, breaking blocks, scanning a scene for one last hidden object. Your hands are busy, but your brain gets a bit of a rest. All the stuff that's been rattling around in your head, the things you need to do, the things you forgot to do, it just kind of fades out. It's kind of the same reason that people crochet or knit or tend to their garden or doodle on pieces of paper while watching television. The action is simple, the repetition is soothing, and nothing is really at stake. And when everything in your day has felt urgent and important, doing something that doesn't really matter at all is actually really nice. One of the things I've noticed about these types of games is how they handle progress. In most story-driven games, progress means moving forward. There's always somewhere you're supposed to be heading, something the game wants you to do next. That structure is part of what makes them gripping. But it also means there's always a little bit of pressure sitting in the background. In Minecraft, I once spent 3 full evenings digging out a basement under a house that nobody would ever see, just because I wanted the space to feel right. The game didn't ask me to do it, there was no reward, it was just a thing that I decided mattered, and I made it happen. In hidden object cat games that I love to play, the list of missing cats shrinks one by one. In fishing games, the compendium slowly fills up. In games like Koi Farm, a little game where you breed koi across generations, each new fish adds a little more color and variety to your pond. The progress is real, but it moves at whatever pace you feel like. There's no deadline. There's no moment where the game starts pushing you. That lack of pressure means you can put the game down at any time without feeling like you've abandoned something. It means a session that lasts 20 minutes is just as valid as one that lasts 3 hours. It means the game is always waiting for you, patient and unchanged, whenever you happen to come back to it, whether it's the next day, a week later, or even months. Something I've only recently realized about myself is I feel a lot of comfort knowing what the game will feel like before I actually open it. Story-driven games thrive on surprises, twists, unexpected deaths, big dramatic moments. That's part of what makes them so good though. But surprises require a certain kind of readiness. You have to be up for being caught off guard. And there are days when I'm simply not. When I load up Minecraft, I know what I'm getting. I know the sounds, I know roughly what I'll end up doing. I know there's no story waiting to hit me with something heavy. There's just a world that works the same way it always has, ready to be messed around in. That predictability is a form of safety, and it's the reason why people rewatch comfort films they've already seen 100 times or return to the same well-loved book during difficult periods. The pleasure isn't in being surprised, it's in being held by something familiar. Certain games have become that for me, a space I know how to be in, a space that doesn't need anything from me, and it won't change while I'm not looking. There's also a lot of creativity to these games that I think gets underestimated. Without a story pushing you toward a specific ending, you have to come up with your own reasons for doing things. And that's actually really freeing. I've spent hours in games pursuing goals that existed entirely in my own head, building a particular kind of structure, tracking down a specific fish, arranging a little house until it looked the way I wanted it to look. None of these goals appeared on a checklist. I just decided they mattered and then worked towards them. And when you finish something like that, it feels like yours in a way that completing a story mission doesn't quite. The game told you to go and track down long lost Uncle Ben, but this thing in Minecraft, I did that myself. I also find there's something so meditative about the absence of story. Without a plot to follow or characters to track, my mind is free to wander in a way it rarely gets to do during the day. Some of my clearest thinking happens while I'm doing something repetitive and low stakes. Problems I've been turning over for days sometimes just resolve themselves while I'm mining or fishing or scanning a scene for those hidden cats. None of this, by the way, is an argument against story-driven games. I love them. Some of my most vivid gaming memories comes from powerful narratives, characters I've grieved, endings that sat with me for days, months, years in some cases, and worlds that I didn't want to leave. But being able to just exist somewhere for a bit, doing something small, meaningless, with nothing at stake, that's valuable too. It just doesn't get talked about as much. Some of the best things in life are like that: knitting, crochet, walking, tending a garden, watching that film or show that you've seen a dozen times. They just don't demand anything from you. They are just there and only ask that you show up. There's many games out there that do that too, and I think they deserve more credit for it, because sometimes the perfect game for the moment is not one that asks or demands something from you. It's the one that lets you switch off and just fish or mine or simply just be. I hope you enjoyed this little insight into my mind and how certain types of games make me feel. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, please do consider subscribing and sticking around for more. Thank you for watching.